Guys, thank you for being here. I already started hating my face, but too many people saw me already today in different panels. But unfortunately, the moderator is not dead, but became ill for a certain reason, so that's why I'm here. I promise you that tomorrow you'll see my face even more, so, you know, live with it if you can, and otherwise I just quit. So I'm very, very happy to announce my guest here for this panel, the future of e-commerce. A very, very challenging and very interesting topic for all of you. Mr. Przemek Pulta from PayPal, the country manager of PayPal in Poland. Mr. Marco Dinoi,
hi,
head of the commercial division of Microsoft. And Mr. Alex Marks, he's the marketing business director of eBay. So, guys, I would like to invite you. I'll stay up like this until I can manage it. So please have a seat. Okay. I just want to warn you that this is maybe one of the most, not very comfortable seats you can sit there. So that's why I prefer to be up there. You know, I was ready for this. I already sat there. Okay. Thank you again for being here. And let's start with the topic. So we don't have much of time. We have 30 minutes, and then the audience has 10 minutes to ask questions. And actually, the first question is very easy, and I hope you'll help me with the next one. E-commerce. In Bulgaria and in Romania and in the countries around, in most of the cases we say, yeah, everybody's talking about it, but we don't actually very much see. So what is the e-commerce from your perspective towards the region? What is eBay's and Chow's perspective towards the region in terms of e-commerce here? Talking about Romania, Bulgaria, you're the biggest players of the market, so it's important what you think and what you plan for the market. Marco? Okay, sure. Please.
Hi.
Is there only one microphone here?
It's not working.
Come on, it will be. The public will have the word in half an hour. So please share it. Thank you.
So regarding e-commerce in all over Europe, there's great potential and a high potential. Tomorrow I will have a speech where I will show some slides regarding a trend across Europe. Regarding Bulgaria, Romania, this are markets that are really relevant for us in future. Right now we concentrate on the key countries, means we have Germany, we have France, we have UK, Spain, Italy, countries that are growing. Also Netherlands and Sweden, really small countries, but they have a really good market. And I think for us, or for me, it's really important to be today here to see what kind of potential Bulgaria, for example, can provide us as price comparison or opinion portal. And the thing is that on a higher level, the guys has to decide, okay, when should we do the next move? Because to implement new sites in other countries is really easy. For us, it's important to see what kind of potential has this country. Means, are there buy-willing people? Are there people that want to do business? Are there people that want to inform herself or himself to see what kind of potential can I see in the internet? Because in Italy and Spain, we made the experience that the people in the beginning were really not sure, can I buy something in the internet because maybe the trust is missing. And here the great advantage regarding eBay and Chow is really the reviews. Means today if you have reviews you have trust because these reviews were written or will be written by users, and this means if someone is telling you, hey, this digital camera is really nice, and the guy who told you this is working, for example, for Sony, and it's a Sony camera, then you say, nice to hear, nice to know. But if another independent user will write you, okay, this camera is nice, but there are some aspects or points that are not really fitting to me, to my person, and you say, okay, for me it's really good, this camera, I like it, then you have a trust. And this user review trust is absolutely important and will be the focus for the next generation.
You actually started answering my next question about the mixture of the channels, but could you please say what you think about the region and what are your plans as representative of eBay?
You've answered all the things I was going to say, so I'll say something else. I think the most important thing to point out is the contrast, perhaps, between a market like the UK now, where every week £100 million of commerce is done on eBay. Every week. 10 years ago, it was minuscule because the infrastructure for internet wasn't really particularly developed. people didn't really trust it. They preferred going to the high street shops. They didn't trust the internet. There was too many scams going on. And you know, it's very easy to sort of fast forward 5, 10 years and suddenly go, my God, look how far we've come. But I think that markets like Bulgaria, Romania are in very much the same position, if not a better one, because the infrastructure is here to a large extent. And as more and more people go online and use the internet, so the retailers will start to recognize that it's a valuable distribution channel for them. And they will start to invest in, you know, outside distribution from the high street, and so on and so on, and it will grow. So I would say that the market is sort of poised to grow very nicely, and businesses such as Chow or eBay are looking all the time to monitor that and pick the right time to invest their own brands.
Thank you, Alex. And from your perspective of view, from the perspective of view of online payment system, how is the region, Bulgaria, Romania, Serbia, Turkey situated, and Greece? I'm asking about the region because out of 4,300 people registered for this event, we have about 1,000 from the countries around. So for sure, I would like you to share your visions towards the region. Of course, it will be very interesting for us to share if you're looking at the region or at the different countries in particular, because it's a very important point. For me, myself, as organizing this event for the region, thinking that everybody is looking at the region, but also for all the participants here, because they're all, for sure, for this panel, participants in the digital industry in terms of e-commerce. So it will be interesting to know how you intend to enter, or how you see the region, and how you're going to develop, whether it will be developed sustainably for all the region, or you're going to invest in your presence for different countries. So
yeah, so from PayPal perspective, you know, these are great markets, growing very fast. A lot of things are happening. We already have several 100,000 users from the region. And we already offer the service, so you can send, receive, withdraw money. Yeah, correct. Obviously, for us, unfortunately, it's actually not that easy and that simple to launch a new site. It actually costs a lot of money. It has to be ROI positive, unfortunately. So it actually takes a while until we set up a local office, set up a local site, translate it, localize it. So stay tuned, but I'm sure one day this will come. It took us a while actually to launch PayPal in Poland. We launched it first in 2006, so you know, a long time until PayPal came.
How long was the preparation for this? We can have the, you know, we can expand it to the market in these terms. If you haven't started
from the decision to enter the market, it depends, but you know, it can take up to a year to really be ready and to launch operations. It takes a while. It's not easy, but you asked about the region and the markets. We obviously look at the region, but we also look at markets, and I think some of the markets are extremely interesting for us. These are the markets obviously with high population, and you talked about Turkey. This is a fabulous market, you know. Credit cards very popular, PayPal-like markets where credit cards are popular. We kind of help to utilize credit cards online. So definitely this is kind of #1 market that we look at. But also the region is very interesting. So, you know, with accession to Eurozone, I think things will be easier for PayPal user in Bulgaria. With, you know, further growth of online base, I'm sure, you know, it's just a matter of time until we offer the services in a full localized version here.
I will try to catch up with the contents, actually the name of the panel, The Future of E-commerce, but as the audience already saw, I'm asking questions about the region generally. Myself, I'm a speaker around the world, and I know that everybody's interested in the region, not globally. So let's stick to the region, but at the same time having comparison. Predrag, the next question is for you also, because it's 100% connected with the e-commerce. What was the influence of PayPal in Poland? For example, how did PayPal change the e-commerce market in terms of figures for a 1-year period? Can you give an answer? I know that's too many.
Yeah, I can't give an exact answer, but how PayPal works for Polish users right now is mainly to accommodate cross-border trade, and this is a topic I'm going to talk about tomorrow. So basically, if you're Pole and you want to try to buy something on eBay in the United Kingdom or in Germany, US, actually the only payment method you have is PayPal. So previously, credit cards are not very popular. You couldn't buy. Right now, you can buy. You protect it. It's a very easy, sleek experience. So mainly for that reason, that was actually number one reason why PayPal launched in Poland, because eBay was there, but there was no PayPal, and kind of those two really work well together. So we launched PayPal. We've seen this taking up really dramatically. Around almost 70% of all items bought from Poles on eBay are paid with PayPal. So that's one great thing. But we also have a huge penetration among online shops worldwide. Therefore, Poles willing to buy on different internet sites abroad can also, not only eBay, can also pay with PayPal. So this is already a kind of significant market and business that we have. Right. But what we do as a team in Poland, that's why we're there, is actually to offer PayPal to the local brands, to the local shops and major retailers, so that they can also benefit from, on the other hand, from people from outside of the country to buy from them, and from them to actually expand across Europe, right, across the world, because I believe really, internet is there to facilitate the cross-border trade, and PayPal is very helpful.
Good point. I 100% agree. I'll be diplomatic. I won't ask again the question, when are you going to be here? I will skip it and leave it for the next one. But okay, let's talk about the future of e-commerce now. Let's switch to the markets where you operate, where you make the turnovers now, and what are your plans? How you plan to develop the markets further? Is it the cross channels? Is it the communication through mobile payments? Or so please let me ask you and you say it.
It's a good question. So I'll talk a little bit about eBay, then also perhaps a bit about e-commerce in general. One of the three driving factors people go online shopping are a value, trust, and selection. And those are sort of three of the pillars that eBay tends to have in abundance. Selection being really important. Now, I made the point in my speech this morning that it's funny how in the high street we're prepared to sort of drive around quite a lot to get a variety of goods. If we want to buy some spanners and some eggs, we have to go to fairly different shops, probably other ends of the village or the town. But online, you can do that with just a click of the mouse. And yet, people still want to go to a store or a marketplace where they can find that breadth of offering. And a place like eBay, which has been, if you like, it's grown up with offering, books and CDs and clothes, and then also things that people found in their attic, whatever. We're starting to broaden our offering, so we're looking at verticals such as property, travel, films, because we recognize that people come to us for a reason, and that is not just about shopping per se, it's about finding the things that we want online. And eBay is a very strong brand, and if people will come to us for books and clothes, then why wouldn't they come to us to look at houses? So there's a viewpoint that we're looking at broadening our offering in the market. With regard to e-commerce in general, I think we'll see much more of the high street retailers extending their offering onto the internet. Some of them do it very well, some of them do it very badly. I think that's going to improve. They recognize that the two can coexist. They don't have to cannibalize each other. They can have a bricks and mortar shop, and they can also have an online shop, and they're both going to offer different things to the customer, different motivations for going, and there'll be different profit returns for the business, and they'll discount and offer new lines or discounted stock accordingly. Argos is a very good example of that. It's a big retailer in the UK. It sells a whole range of products from children's toys through to camcorders. They use the internet to sell off discounted stock that they can't sell through their retail outlet in the high street. So that's their strategy at the moment. And we'll see increasing numbers of retailers using the internet as a different type of distribution platform and use it to fit a different business model.
Thanks, Alex. And Marco?
Yeah, regarding Ciao, we have an office in Poland, also an office in Romania, where some technical guys are sitting and some accounting stuff will be done there. So for us, right now, we are the MSN shopping channel, means in these 7 countries where we currently are, Germany, France, UK, Italy, Spain, Netherlands, and Sweden, we are doing the shopping for MSN. And also, if you go to Bing, the new search engine by Microsoft, really cool, by the way. There, if you click on shopping, you also will directly will be forwarded to Ciao. And this means for us, there's a potential in every country. And as I mentioned some minutes ago, we made some experience in the last years when we said, okay, let's launch a new site in Netherlands, let's launch a new site in Sweden. And by the technical part, it's really easy for us to implement a new site. The big thing is really to see how can we directly get to the consumer and say, hey, we are Ciao, we are opinion portal. Ciao started in 1999 as opinion portal, then integrates a price comparison, and this combination regarding e-commerce today is absolutely valuable and a must. Because if you would like to be successful, you need both. Means you need a site where you have community, where you can talk with other people regarding several issues, products, etc. And you need also a transparent overview regarding all the merchants that are still alive and showing you something. And I think in every country, normally there's a potential. And for us, let's see what our major manager will decide, but we are looking forward to expand. That's our main.
Okay, as for Bing, actually the advertising here is not that expensive, so it's not very. Kidding, of course. We've met with Stefan Musikant. It was a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
We shared ideas on the market, of course, through our personal interests, interactive agency, etc., and also IC Academy. But it left me the impression that the things with Bing happen quite fast. So that's why I'm asking you about the cross-channels communications. How you started as opinion review portal, then we have the sales power implemented. Now we have a search engine there. Yeah. And actually you rebranded just a couple of weeks ago or a month ago, something like that. So your new logo is with Bing there. So how is going to change the way people shop, you think, from your perspective as Ciao?
For us, for example, there will be a more value. Means if we work together with the search engine, or we are part of the search engine of Microsoft, for us the thing is really we trust on the user and the user trust on other user. Means trust is a key important factor. Also relevance of content means if you have users that are writing reviews and telling other people, hey, that's my own opinion, this is absolutely more value. Then this means user-generated content. We're talking about Web 2.0, blah, 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 the last years. We're doing this since 1999, and this is something like where we exactly know how to work with users, how to work with merchants. And the thing is that we as Ciao are also a more value for a search engine, because the thing is if someone is trying to find something, let's take, for example, this nice example. If you go to Google and type in Apple, we never know, is it an Apple computer, is it an Apple I would like to eat, something like this, yeah. And therefore, this new Bing search engine is something like it's a decision platform, and the combination of Bing and Ciao will be really successful in future.
A very friendly question.
Sure.
I hope that you will find it like this. But okay, let's have one Romanian e-commerce platform, whatever it is, with reviews, and Ciao.
Yeah.
And let's presume we're searching for content. What will be the first result that Bing will bring?
Regarding Bing, if you try to find something.
For Bing, yeah.
Yeah, it depends.
Will it be Ciao, information and content generated in Ciao, or it will be open to all market players with, depending on the links, etc., your algorithm and the algorithm of Bing?
Yeah, so the thing is it's an independent...
I said it's friendly, so
yeah.
you cannot answer it either whatsoever.
I will answer
just
every time.
Okay, thank you.
The thing is, it's an independent search engine regarding Bing. So we are from Ciao. We are working right now with Bing.
Right.
They're working with us. The thing is that the relevance of the search that this guy or this user did is more and more important and more coming in future. So there are really lots of ideas what this new platform Bing can do. And
Absolutely.
We cannot talk about this, unfortunately. But there will be some changes in future. Will take a while. But you will see some really cool stuff on this site.
Okay, we'll be waiting for this.
Yeah,
for sure.
please. It's really cool.
So, you want to share, especially on this topic for the future, how you see it from the perspective of online payment systems? If you, of course, from the perspective of PayPal, but of course from the whole.
So I think overall e-commerce growing very fast. Also having the competition is increasing. You have more and more players. I think what we see in terms of trends is that you either have to be very big, have a great scale, and very compelling prices, and then you win, or you have to be very specialized and in the long tail and have a fantastic customer service, and this is how you win. You cannot stand in between, with your two legs falling apart. So that's kind of a trend that we've seen. What we also see, obviously, the prices for advertising are increasing. What I think PayPal is offering above the payment method is actually improving the conversions on the site. So we have products, we can basically implement the PayPal logo on the payment flow at the very beginning. Next to the product you see, you can click PayPal, confirm the payment, and you're done. PayPal sends the information where to ship it and how to whom back to the merchant. So you actually don't have to set up a PayPal account with a new store. You don't have to fill out all the financial information that normally you have to go through all those steps altogether. So I really believe PayPal is not only a solution, but also an improvement to the potential flows that some of the merchants have on their site. And obviously, we all in e-commerce talk about conversions and getting better at them. So we really see our place to improve that and actually help e-commerce players to get conversions much higher. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, absolutely. Bulgaria is somewhere in at the end of the list of effective e-commerce in the region. Romania is doing quite decently well, I'm sure you know, and since you're there for sure. I won't say what are the three factors, but what are the factors according to you for the e-commerce development for a country? You've mentioned infrastructure. It's for sure it's one of the most important factors. And as we mentioned again, it is well developed in the region. So-so. I mean, I've already said it in the previous panel. Sofia is in the top 10 of quality of internet from a recent study we had. The same, we had quite fast mobile internet already. So what are the other factors to have it happen? And those are the
I think the thing, I think comes back to the old cliche of trust, because there wasn't one thing that happened in the UK or Germany that suddenly everyone one day went, do you know what, forget going to the high street, I'm going to go online and buy my things. It didn't happen. It happened very slowly over time. Even 5 years ago, I think the total spent on retail or e-commerce was about 400 million in the year. And in 5 years, it's gone from 400 million to 30 billion or something stupid. It's just, so it hasn't just suddenly gone 1 year, everyone finds it okay and just does it. It takes time to build trust. There was a lot of worry about fraud. There was a lot of early problems with credit card scams and people stealing data. It still happens now, as it does when you go to the local shop down in your village. It does happen everywhere. So it's not just the problem of online, but there was a fear there. So that's a big issue. Once people start to feel confident, and that confidence breeds confidence. So when you start to hear that someone's found some great deals online or found something they were looking for they couldn't find anywhere else, they tell people. One of the things eBay's sort of central brand essence, if you like, is they want to try and deliver shopping worth talking about, because when we do buy things, we like to talk about it. And we like to tell people what we've found and be very smug. But it's, when people do find things that they like, they do tell their friends, and that encourages other people then to go online as well and do some shopping and try it out. It's just it just finds its own momentum. As with any market, you have the early adopters, you have the middle bit, and then you have the laggards. And e-commerce sort of development will follow exactly the same path.
How is the confidence connected to the payment systems?
I think it's down to, do I want to give my credit card details out? And of course, PayPal was invented, if that's the right word, to try and provide a secure alternative to that at a time when that sort of thing was a real problem. It's less of a problem now, but PayPal provides a very secure alternative, and that's why it's flourished.
Yeah, I agree. All the factors you talked about are really important. Obviously, you need good, secure payment methods so people can actually trust each other. I think it's also a matter of the population. Do people trust each other? Actually, different countries have a different level of trust.
It's a good issue.
Poles, for example, they trust their families, but they don't trust others. So that's actually
no one trusts me.
Oh, I don't want to be in Poland. I'll be treated badly there. I don't have Polish family.
So those things. Obviously, you have things like shipping. Do you have good? Is your national post? Do they lose
it's the
5%
factor,
of your shipments? If they do, people probably won't be really willing to send the goods. The other thing is if the country is concentrated, if you have a very high concentration within one region, it might be that, for example, just the advertising classifieds can be very good. It doesn't necessarily have to be the regular e-commerce where I actually buy something online and I ship it and I pay for it. This might be actually exchange, but the first contact happened online, which is, I believe this is also e-commerce. And last comment I just wanted to make, we have the trust factor different in different countries, but I think there are just so many things around. There's obviously something like, just the number of people that are using e-commerce. You need to have this base that actually starts this snowball rolling. I think before you have that, it actually takes a lot of time and effort, and it looks like it might not happen. Maybe we're not going to see it. But once those things are kind of coming into place, coming together, you really see a huge effect. And out of the sudden, everyone talks about e-commerce. Everyone talks about the great deals online. And this really happened. There's no doubt that this will come here. I wish there was more data available. I actually couldn't find enough data about what is the size of e-commerce in Bulgaria, how fast it is growing.
I will provide you with this right now.
I think the more
it will be interesting for you.
The more advertising.
That's what you're here, so we can help you with this.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And finally, sorry, just
please, sorry.
We also see, for example, just an example of Spain, where they have really good weather. We see that the online e-commerce is actually not growing so fast as in other markets. They have everything. They have good connections. They speak the language. Even English. They can trade internationally. Everything is there. They're very rich. They don't buy online, and probably because they have a great weather. You have great weather too. So I don't know. Maybe it also has some kind of influence.
Okay.
Actually, there's one more. Just to add another thing to that about trust and so on.
We just ran out of time, so please.
Okay. On eBay at Christmas time, when it comes to Christmas, everyone goes online to buy their stuff. Okay. 2 weeks before Christmas, everyone stops shopping on eBay. Everyone. And the reason? Because they do not trust the sellers to be able to get them the goods in time.
Yep.
Because of the postage.
Very good example. Great, thank you. Yeah. Okay, Marco, for me it's too late to enter the Polish market. I already got married and this is the only way I can have a family there, so they won't trust me anyway. But since we're in Bulgaria and Romania and the region is what is important, share your point of view. We said, as I can recall it at the end of the day, we set infrastructure, we set trust and connected it somehow with the payment systems, and we set deliveries. So, something else.
Yeah, regarding Spain, for example, I think 4 or 3 years ago, there was a trade fair in Spain. It was on Mallorca. It was a really small trade fair. 2 years after, there was an incredible trade fair. This means the increase or the growing of these countries like Italy and Spain is becoming more and more important. It means Italy, for example, 3 years ago, nobody was using internet, and there we had the same issue. I trust nobody. That's the main issue. And right now, Italy overpassed Spain, means the Italian market is really on a high level. Regarding
one of the biggest exhibitions in internet are there for Europe. I was amazed. I was there once. 8,000 people.
That was
amazing.
Yeah, they're becoming more and more. They're doing really well. So the thing for us, for example, regarding a country, we're watching normally every country that is maybe a potential for us. Regarding Portugal, for example, they're living 10 million people and only 1 million people have internet or using internet. For us, this is a risk to say, okay, let's start their business because it's not enough. And the thing is, if a country like, for example, Romania, Poland, or Bulgaria would say, okay, we need, for example, more internet. Means it depends all on you, because you're sitting here to see what kind of ideas are coming across other countries. And the thing is, if you decide to do your own business, to make your retail bigger, automatically the big companies like eBay, Microsoft, etc., PayPal, are coming automatically. The thing is that it's
just for the record, the figures are different. I mean, they're in favor of the local markets. I already gave these figures just in the previous panels. For Sofia, the penetration of internet is 67%. For the biggest city in Bulgaria, it's about 50, Varna 55. Romania deals a little bit slower in this, but with overall for Bulgaria, it's about 40. For Romania, it's about 28, 32. I guess if the Romanians here, they can update me, but I think that I'm quite right on this. So it's overall is not very good, but for the big cities where the population of these countries is situated, of course for Greece and Turkey the figures are different, but there is internet penetration. As Alex started with it, seems like that the infrastructure is set up. So maybe now we lack the trust, maybe the deliveries.
Maybe the snowball effect that I referred to, just how many people live in Sofia and have this internet access, like what is the size of the e-commerce? We just said about, that if your e-commerce grows, obviously international companies will get interested. I probably wouldn't expect that the international companies will come here to grow the e-commerce. They're probably going to be, the slower one and the second one to come and enter the market. So, once it's big, unfortunately, and I had the same pain, in Poland, because we didn't have all those great international players, and it's like, wow, Poland is a country of 40 million people, joined the European Union in 2004, and majority of the companies are not even there. But that's, reality we live in. But it just takes time. The market has to grow, and you kind of pushed us on the question on when you're going to enter or what you're going to do in this region. I mean, we don't have any plans to open up an office, but we're actually open for cooperation. And I think there are several ways PayPal can cooperate with local entrepreneurs, especially with payment services providers. We're happy to integrate PayPal onto their products, and the big online stores, they can also use PayPal. They can receive money from international customers. So there are all those type of things. Plus, we're right now just about to open a developer platform, open up the APIs for external users. So developers will be able to build products around PayPal ecosystem, and that's going to be amazing. And people in Bulgaria, Romania, wherever they are, they will be able to take part in that. So the fact that we don't have an office here doesn't mean that you cannot work with us.
Sure. The figure 700,000 sounds not bad as a starter, but actually it represents 0.5% of the total population of the region. So you have lots to grow. What is the percentage for Poland, for example?
The percentage for Poland.
Users of PayPal.
Okay.
Not percentage, but number.
Yeah.
So you said 700,000 for the region.
Right.
I just want, for me and for sure the audience will be interested, want to see the figures and the trends. So what is the situation in Poland where you have an office?
Yeah. Good question.
If it's tough, please.
No.
Anyway,
it's tough, but I think right now we have around 10% of the online population, and it's growing. We're adding several thousand new users every week.
So it's 6 million of Poland, isn't it?
No, Poland has 40 million people.
Yeah,
half of them are online, and the other half kind of buys online. Okay. So you would end up probably with 10, 14 million online buyers, but obviously depends on the statistics and who you trust.
I see. Okay. Well, dear colleagues and attendants here to this conference, as actually I've promised you, my team promised you that there won't be commercial presentations. Everything will be for people who want to know better about the market and to expand their knowledge, their ideas, their business side of views. I hope that we did it and you appreciate it. Those three companies, they don't even want to say when they're going to come here to the region, which means that this doesn't mean that they don't have commercial interest, but for sure they're evangelists sharing their knowledge and their know-how, which was the point and which is our strategy for the future of Webit and e-Academy, to give to raise market awareness towards the digital for the whole region. So now I would like to ask you to have this last a little bit less than 10 minutes for questions. So please feel free to ask questions to my three guests, please.
I have a question for Alex.
If it's possible to speak a little bit louder or
yes,
just to pump up the volume
I have
of
a
the
question
microphone. Thank you.
for Alex. You have mentioned that you're planning to go into verticals, which means specialization and focus. Do you have any priority on sectors, and does it vary for the markets, this type of specialization in this country, and 5 years later we are going to have that type of specialization in this country?
I can't really speak for a breadth of markets. My knowledge of the verticals is pretty much European based. But what we've found, what we're trying to do is to identify verticals where we think, one, people will feel comfortable using eBay to access those verticals. So we've done a deal with a company called Property Index in the UK. So, you know, in the sense that all the estate agents will use that to list their properties for sale. We're looking to speak with other partners in verticals like travel, money, and so on and so forth. So there's no real sort of particular strategy I can give you. Suffice to say that it's based on the fact that, one, it's a vertical we feel that will fit within our current offer, if you like, and that our customers have expressed either an interest in or a willingness to come to us for. And secondly, that there is financial benefit because, you know, the market is incredibly competitive. You know, we are aware of the fact that one of our USPs is the variety and selection that we offer. And in order to make sure we are, if you like, one step ahead, we need to look at expanding that selection in the most appropriate fashion. So I know it's not a particularly detailed answer, but it's probably the best I can give you.
Thank you. Other questions? Oh, please. Okay. I just wanted to ask you not to be so many, you know, we cannot answer all of them, so it's good. Thank you.
Okay. You mentioned that major factors for e-commerce growth are trust, delivery, and infrastructure. You also mentioned that internet penetration in Bulgaria is very high, but what is the penetration of the credit cards, and especially credit cards you're used for e-commerce?
Are you asking me, or because for Bulgaria, do you know?
Do you have any numbers? do you have any numbers?
I can answer about the penetration of credit cards, but maybe you're asking somebody.
And any trends about the credit cards, because I believe they're also part of the infrastructure, not only internet.
I'll answer the last part because for sure I don't want to make my guests inconvenient in this. They should know it. They shouldn't know it. I was talking with the representative of Visa in Bulgaria. I guess that's the last number I remember was about more than 3 million expanding. Debit cards, credit cards, all instruments for online payments, and quite expanding. So I think that the figures are going to grow within this year and next year even higher. So if you're really interested in particular figures, I can send it to you if you give me your email. I'll provide this information. Not exactly sure because I don't have the percentage of the credit cards and debit cards, but they are both good instruments.
Actually, my question was not about the actual figures, but do you think that the number of credit cards that are able to be used for online payments is a limiting factor for developing e-commerce in Bulgaria?
Yeah. Please.
I don't know whether it's a limiting factor for the e-commerce in Bulgaria because, for example, in Poland, where banks actually did a very good job in enabling home banking. So everyone, you know, has a bank account. It's very easy and free to do a bank transfer. It takes maximum 1 day. It doesn't cost you much, and obviously for the buyers, maybe not perfect because once you send the money is gone, and that's why people prefer to use PayPal, or they will prefer to use PayPal. But it's also a well-working payment method. So I guess, you know, it can be either the penetration of credit cards that is helpful, but also I think the home banking, the online banking, the work that the banks do in order to give, you know, online access to the bank users, and also develop e-commerce dedicated products to enable online payments. I think it will have a very, very good benefit on that. And what we do at PayPal, we actually try to localize all payment methods that are major, that are important. And for example, we launched PayPal in Poland only with credit cards, which was actually very limiting because only, I think at that time, 20% of people had a credit card. People they were getting debit cards when they opened bank accounts, but those debit cards were closed for internet transactions, so we couldn't make much use of them. What we did 2 years later, we actually set up a product in place called Top Up, where you can go to your bank account, send the money to a PayPal account, use it as an electronic wallet, and then go on and kind of keep on spending. But that's definitely a major factor, credit cards, yeah.
Thank you. Actually, we can have one more question, so please.
My question is about trust. If a Bulgarian company is selling not to Bulgarians, but to customers from UK, for example, or from United States, do you think that these customers will have trust in companies located in Bulgaria? And what can be done? Do you think that it's a good idea to hide the fact that the company is located in Bulgaria?
Should I? Yeah.
Who would you like to have answered from?
Very briefly, and then I pass the microphone to Alex. It totally makes sense to sell out of Bulgaria. I'm going to talk about it tomorrow, so if you can be there, please be. I'm going to give some advices and tell what to look out for.
I think that your presentation is 100% full, so it's...
Okay. PayPal or payment methods that are recognized. If you have it, buyers got to trust you because they know that if something goes wrong, they can always go to PayPal. Second thing, and I think Chao is a good example, if you have good history of transactions and people talk in a good way about your shop, you can show it to them. You can show also your offline presence. We have a merchant in Poland that shows the picture of his offline store confirming, hey, this is me. You have different methods actually verifying that your shop is trustworthy. In Germany, there's some like e-trusted stores, all the kind of certification that you can use. So there are several methods that you can actually show people that even though you might not be from their own country, they should feel good in buying from you. And I think the research shows, I think 33% of Europeans said that if they get a good service, good product, and a better price, they will actually be happy to buy abroad.
I think there is a natural. That said, I think there's a natural fear of buying that far away, if you like, because if people are slightly worried about something coming from 200 miles away, something coming from 2,000 miles away, from another culture, it might well be a bridge too far for some people. But that said, coming back to the trust issue, I think it might be harder to build that trust, but once you've got it, in some ways it's almost easier to hold on to. And I'll give you a quick example. I was in Thailand about 8 years ago, and I found a tailor in Bangkok who made me a suit. It was when I was younger and slimmer. He made me a suit for £120 made out of cashmere, and it was beautiful. And I continue to go to that tailor, and I send him money, and he sends me my clothes over. Not a suit. This is Marks and Spencer's. But I still have that relationship because I found a person I trusted and I could do business with. And I'm happy to give him my cash, and there's a trust thing going on there, and he knows me, and we deliver. And so that's, it can be done. And I think as the world gets a smaller and smaller place and the internet is helping that to happen, there's no reason why we don't get much more trade across continents, across hemispheres. So I think, again, that's something that will happen much more in the future.
Thank you. Sorry, excuse me.
I also would like to say something. I think the most important thing is, first of all, we made this experience because we're working on a pan-European level. First of all, the site must be in the right language. There must be no mistakes, spelling mistakes. It's absolutely important to get trust. Otherwise, you will never get users that buy something. Then the second thing is, how do I get these reviews or this trust? And therefore, you have to use consumer portals in these countries because they can help you directly. Also here, if you would like to talk later about this, I have some ideas because we did this also with other merchants, and it's working fine. And it's World Wide Web, so sell it everywhere.
Sure. Yeah, I won't share with you bad experience with e-commerce, but you know that Webit platform was based on Borica payment systems. You cannot imagine how much problems we had from around the world. So yeah, it needs improvement for sure. And I'm happy to have you here. I'm happy to share, to hear your, feel privileged to hear it from first face from you, from first hand, all your ideas and visions for the future of development of e-commerce, from payment system point of view, and from the biggest, one of the biggest, actually the biggest players on the market, not counting one more. So guys, we have. We are already 5 minutes after the end of this session, but since it's the last one, and we don't have anybody pushing us in the back, I could, just extend with 5 minutes more. So if you really have questions, please ask one or two more. So if you don't mind.
No, sure.
Please,
Fine.
thank you.
Great.
Yeah, this gentleman.
Hello. My question is regarding the percentage of e-commerce shoppers in Bulgaria. You mentioned that you have some data, and in respective countries like Poland and the UK. Let's say the number of people doing e-commerce related to the numbers having access to, as a percentage. Let's say people having access on the internet versus the people actually buying. That I think it's
I'll give you some figures from the UK first because they're in my head, and I'm just going to spout them at you because I'm not sure exactly which one will answer your question. But eBay has about 17 million people coming to its doors every month. Okay, the internet penetration in the UK is around 75%, I believe. So there's about 35 million people online. Okay, so you go to eBay, you got half of them straight away.
The figures for UK was 60% of the population shopping online. Is that?
So it's around 60% of people shop online. Thanks, Blind. And in terms of the time,
it was so complicated, Alex. All those figures.
In terms of the time spent, in terms of everyone's internet behaviour, people spend around 10% of their time shopping, which is probably more than they spend in the high street. Okay.
Actually, to be honest, I know more about the UK and other European markets than for Bulgaria. I mean, those are mostly of us estimations because in Bulgaria, as you know, the e-commerce is, you can hardly call it so, but the issue is that people are logging. There are a huge number of people logging there, but the issue is that they use these shops as a comparison, price comparison. This is where the problem is. So there is no actual transactions. If they are, as you know, through pay on demand. So once pay on delivery. So which doesn't mean that it's not e-commerce, yeah. But it's a different way. It's on the way of development. So if I tell the figures, somebody will tell me that I'm wrong. So I don't want to be called wrong, at least not today. So again, I can say as I said to the previous person, I can provide you with the data we have, but I don't call them official. While for UK this is official. So it's. Yeah. I was expecting SMS from the representative of Visa Bulgaria. I've asked her very kindly, the director of Visa Bulgaria, to send me this information about the visas to be 100% secure. I didn't get it. I have a couple of calls which I don't answer, so maybe one of it. So I can provide you with this information if you're really interested. Other questions? Don't ask me about the amount of credit cards in Bulgaria a second time because I'm still not ready. Other questions? Please, Alison. I would like first actually to announce this is one of our keynote speakers also from the European Interactive Advertising Association, Alison Fenna. I'm glad to have you here, Alison.
Thank you. I was just going to make a point really rather than asking a question, and I think that my point is we obviously do various studies which look at e-commerce across all of the European markets, and one of the things that comes across that's really important is that you have to understand thoroughly the differences market by market in order to know how to grow a new business in any particular market. So, for example, looking at the UK, the very high percentage of credit cards, but also how much people use those credit cards and the level of spend that people
Good
have
point, absolutely.
has made a huge difference in terms of how much people spend online and what verticals they spend across. So if you look at the UK as a market, it's got the biggest breadth of vertical spend in Europe because people have become very comfortable with that credit card use and get used to spending a lot. But also, that doesn't mean that you should underestimate markets where people pay on delivery and have different payment methods. So, for example, in Germany, we thought, well, let's find out how much the payment on delivery issue is affecting e-commerce. And we found out that still 4 years ago, 40% of people still preferred to pay on delivery. But if you look at how much the German market is accelerating and has accelerated, that doesn't seem to have been much of an issue for that market. So I think one of the key things is to really understand market by market, draw comparisons, and then decide, look, is it a very broad offer you've got, or is it a niche? Because if it's a niche, maybe you don't need such a huge amount of breadth. Maybe you don't need very high internet penetration. You just need to have that niche covered and make sure that you're marketing to it properly.
Alison,
so that's a point rather than a question, really.
Absolutely.
Several.
Well, Alison, thank you for adding value to our discussion. Thanks, and your panel is tomorrow at the same time here. I think it will be very, very interesting about your research, media scope of Europe. So for sure, it will be very interesting for everybody. All right, thank you for being here, Alex, Marco, and Prismac. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you for sharing. And thank you for being here for the first day of Webit, and hope to see you tomorrow. Thank you. Have a nice evening.
My name is Nubu from ZT.
Yes.
I will email you.
Do him. No, I'm not doing the mic right now.